The 100, Season 3, Episode 12, Demons. Now I'm finally catching up with The 100, and coming right back to it, it's already, it wasn't fully a depressing episode, but they did kill off yet another character. I know Sinclair wasn't exactly like one of the main people. He was one of the characters that kind of shows up every once in a while. The most, more recently than not, he's kind of been in every single episode. And it really sucked that he died in this, and I kind of couldn't believe it just because they've already killed off two other characters, and like I said, those were much bigger characters than Lincoln and Lexa. But Sinclair's, was still important, has had an important role since the beginning of the series, and if I remember right, he has been a character, a main character since the very first episode, and he was in it a lot because he was the guy who was like the engineering guy on the ship. So he's been a pretty important player throughout the series, and it's crazy they killed off yet another character. Like, they're killing off everybody, it seems. But this is definitely a fun episode. It had its twists and turns. Emerson is back once again, officially dead by the end of this one, so I'm happy to see that happen because every time he showed up, of course there's an issue, but every time he showed up, I'd be like, he's still alive? Like, every time, I would forget that he hasn't died in some way. The last time he was really mentioned is when he was cast out of the ice station. I'm like, I don't know why. I just thought they killed him for some reason. I have no idea why I thought that. But every time he shows up, I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess he's, they haven't shown him die yet, so he's not dead. But he officially dies at the end of this episode. Pretty crazy way for him to die, too, with Clark saying the phrase and putting Alley 2.0 in his neck. And it, like, crawls up to his spine and stuff, and it just destroys him from the inside. That was pretty crazy, so definitely a crazy kind of epic way to go out for one of the villains who's been an odd nuisance. Like, he hasn't really been like a giant threat really until this episode. He's been an issue because he's shown up before, but he hasn't been a crazy threat until this episode. And I guess technically that's not true because he did give them the code to blow up, all of Mount Weather. So I guess that's not really true. But this time he was actually there, because other times it was like, oh, this is how we found out. It's because Emerson's alive and he's with us. But this is really the first time it's like he's actually been there and we saw him physically doing everything that was happening. So that was pretty cool. I was very curious. I'm like, what is going on? Like, who is this random, like, crazy Jason, like, grounder attacking everybody? And, he has, like, the smoke and stuff that's knocking everybody out. And he's just taking, he's taking everybody down. And it's just like, what is going on? And then it's like, oh, it's Emerson. So it was really creepy in the beginning, and that was clearly the point. They even start off with like a ghost story. It's like a creepy episode until we, find out it's Emerson. But I like that. It was pretty cool. He was a good threat for the characters for sure. It was creepy once again because they, go back to Arcadia. Everybody's gone. The only person we see that was at Arcadia is actually Jaha, which was very surprising in this episode. But he shows up, which I'm kind of glad I'm 2 episodes behind because I cannot wait to see these next 2 like in a row, and I'm almost 3 episodes behind again because technically it's Thursday now. It's like 2 in the morning or something, so I got to get to the next episode again so that I can at least be only 2 episodes and not 3 episodes behind. But like just everything they did with Jaha and Allie and her gaining even more control, that was excessively streamlined. He shows up, Murphy's like, it's Jaha, this was going to be bad. Gets himself cast out because we find out that Amori actually took the chip, which really sucks because, she shows up, it's like, oh, it's her, they have the relationship again, and everything seems fine, and then we find out that she's actually taking the chip, and I was like, that really sucks because, they had their relationship and everything, and it was way worse than I thought because it was instantaneous. I thought, okay, he's been, considered to be an imposter, and so he's, sent to jail, but it was automatic. It's like, nope, last scene, Allie's in control already, like, chip taken, fake commander, she takes the chip, all that stuff, and it's just terrible. It's going to be really bad. I already know that. I don't need to wonder. That's going to be terrible, and it's probably already happened because, 2 episodes behind, but man, that's really crazy. I was so surprised that it actually happened. I thought she'd, kind of try to figure it out and, make a decision. And it was just like, nope, she got that answer. It's like, I can help you. All you got to do is take this chip. every answer you want, you got it. And that's all she needed to hear. And it was just like, boom, that's it. Like, that is truly it. So that kind of blew my mind. I was very surprised by that one, but very cool. Can't wait to see how that plays out in the next. I guess really that'll affect the rest of the season until we figure out how they can do sort of a massive EMP to cure everybody, because that's still where they're headed towards. And we still need to find Luna, which is, those are really their two options, and they're kind of betting on the Luna thing, which I'm assuming that's, the way it's going to go. But right now, they have to double time it now, and of course, they don't even know this, but they kind of have to double time it to get to Luna and find out where she is. They have the info to activate the piece now, which is really good. That's actually good, so makes things a little bit simpler, but I don't know how things are gonna play out. It was some crazy revelations in this episode. So Murphy's even more screwed. I swear he went from the character causing all the issues to the character being in all the issues. Like, some of the worst stuff truly has happened to him. So he's trapped now in the city. He's trapped now under Allie's control. Even before that, it's like finding out that the woman that he actually had feelings for, she's taken the chip, even though, like, her whole thing was like, we need to not take the chip, because she knew that things were really crazy. So I'm wondering if we'll get a little bit of backstory, excuse me, in between the time of him being captured and her taking off, because we hadn't seen her since that moment where he was basically in prison, because they knew that he was the one kind of scamming everybody. So I assume there's got to be something there, because her whole thing was like she knew the other guy who had his mask, or like the bandana on and everything. She knew that it was super crazy when he took the chip, and it was really weird. So it was like, we both need to not do this. And I just have to wonder, maybe they forced her to do it. Like, that seems simple enough. They could have easily forced her. But I don't know. I mean, that seems like the main solution, because they knew that it would be a way to get to Murphy. Um, and I guess it was just common knowledge that he was there. So I don't know. I don't know. It was really crazy. But definitely excited for the next one. This is definitely a fun episode. It really sucks that they killed off Sinclair. I like Sinclair. I actually thought he was a cool character. Even if he wasn't really, like the most important character. You'd never seen him really play like the greatest roles, like the most, like the biggest things in the episodes or anything like that. But he was clearly a genius character, and they kind of played out the relationship between he and Raven, more recently than any other time, because of him being uh, kind of the tutor to her and everything like that, and him being the one that brought her into engineering, because he recognized her skill and how smart she truly was. So they definitely played that up in the most recent couple of episodes, which I certainly enjoyed. And so it created for an emotional swell towards the end. And of course, he was saving Raven, of all the characters. So definitely a way to go out trying to protect her and everything. But unfortunately, he ends up getting killed. So that really, really sucked. I was hoping, mostly because it was in his stomach, I was like, I really hope that he doesn't die from this. But sadly, they have, even in that scene, when she gets taken, he turns to look and he stops smoking. So that was really sad. It sucks to lose yet another character. And we had his burial as well as Lincoln's burial. They have sort of the um, Viking sort of funeral pyre sort of deal. Or if you watch Supernatural, it's a hunter's burial. So, it was definitely a good way to honor both those characters, and everyone kind of gathers around. And Octavia gets to have her moment when Bellamy brings in Lincoln's body before they do that. So definitely some emotional moments towards the end of the episode that I really enjoyed. Very sad, but definitely well done. Excited for the next one. Of course, I definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I always do this despite being weeks behind. I definitely want to know um, what you guys think is going to come of Allie having taken over basically everything. I mean, she's in control of, I mean, even when she was the fake Hada, she was still the commander, so it didn't really matter. But she's taken over as the commander. She's got, who knows where the rest of the people from Arcadia are. We still don't know what's going on with Pike, which, based on the promo I've seen, uh, he's going to be in the next episode, and what happens with him at least. So there's a lot of craziness, a buttload of other people, and we don't really know how that's gonna go. We just don't know how it's gonna take place. But I definitely want to know your speculations on it. I know it's gonna be bad. That's pretty much the easy guess. But I don't know if like Pike and Kane are gonna get chipped because that's where they're headed. And I would have thought that they would have gotten there first because Arcadia was kind of taken out. But they also had a truck. They still had vehicles at Arcadia, so they probably just took one of those, and that's how they got there faster compared to Kane and Pike, going with the rest of this group and walking, back to the capital. So that would explain how they got there first, and then they're gonna show up after in this next episode. And I don't know, that's gonna be bad. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it either way. But like I said, I want to know what you think will come of Allie having control over the commander and basically everyone now, and of course, just what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.